And good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Most Important Conversations meditation. We lead these meditations Monday through Friday. The overarching theme of our meditations is liberation, specifically liberating oneself from your conditioning, from your learned way of being and doing. Learned because we learn it from our friends, family, and our community, and the wider society. And we're interested in liberation because if we don't liberate ourselves from our conditioning, then we are living someone else's life. We are living in a way that we have learned to be, not in a way that authentically, organically emerges from our true nature. And before each meditation on each day, we have a short talk. And the content of the talks is derived from our main program, Whole Life Architecture, which is our weekly ontological live interactive workshop community, where participants are learning how not only to liberate themselves from their conditioning, but how to step into their power as the creator of their own life. How to first reconnect to their creator essence, which is the essence of what it means to be human. And then once connected to that essence, to be able to create a life by design so that they are no longer tolerating a life by default, a life of default conditioning. So if that interests you, you can join us in Whole Life Architecture, and you can find out more at TMICglobal.com. We've been speaking about this month, in the month of February, we've started speaking about perception as an important element of the creative process and of being creative, as being a creator, and of the process of creativity. Because whatever we perceive is our reality. And what's interesting, as we've been talking this week about it, is that whatever you believe, you will perceive. And it's not enough to just hear my words and to know this logically, but to actively think and apply this to your own life. Whatever you are experiencing as reality in your life, that could be reality in relationships, the reality of your work, your career, your business, the reality of your health, the realities of how you spend your day or how you spend your time. Whatever is your reality, it is constrained and confined by your perception. In other words, just like some scientists believe there are multiverses, multiple universes, there are multiple realities, multi-realities, we could say, that are available to us. And the only thing that determines which reality we are in is that of our perception. There are people who are living just fine on this planet, succeeding, thriving, feeling alive, who are living in a totally separate and different reality from you. You may believe that your reality is the ultimate objective reality and that you need to somehow persuade or convince everyone in your life to agree with your perception of reality, and you can certainly spend your life doing that. And you may have moderate to little success in doing so. Human beings tend to not like feeling pushed or cajoled or manipulated into someone else's reality. They have their own. And their reality, like yours, is an artifact of their perception. And their perception is defined by their beliefs, by their belief system. So you could do that, or you could start to get really curious about what other realities are available to you. Realities that may be more congruent and aligned with your authentic self. Well, in order to know that, you would have to know who your authentic self is. Few of us know ourselves authentically. Mostly we're a walking, habituated, unconscious reaction to everything that occurs to us as though it's happening to us from the outside. We're in reaction to the world of effects, the outside world. That's how most people live their life. You don't have to choose that life. You can choose a different life. And so if you don't want to be an unconscious, emotional, walking, habituated reaction to everything that occurs as it's happening to you, then the only way to get around that, the only solution to that, is to go within and to get curious about who you are, what makes you come alive, what makes you thrive. You may not know the answer to that right away, but you have some insights that are always available to you. Wherever you feel alive in life, could be situational, could be with a certain person, could be a certain place, could be doing a certain activity. You want to pay attention to those moments. What about that moment or that person or that place makes you feel alive? And log it, pay attention to it. Is it a one-off, or is it a pattern perhaps? You are, for whatever reason, perceiving aliveness in those situations. They're not aliveness for everybody. You may be alive in one situation and there's another human being that's there as well, and they are bored to tears and they are not alive. So remember, we don't always agree on these things, because we're all in our own perceived reality. And the other thing you'll want to pay attention to is, where are you complaining? The inverse of where you are thriving and alive. Where are you not? Where are you dead? Where are you resistant? Where are you bored? And I don't mean bored like you always need to be attending to things, which is typically what boredom is. I mean like disinterested in what's going on when I say that. Where are you disinterested in your life and complaining that you wish you were somewhere else, doing something else with someone else? You want to pay attention to that too, because this is areas of misalignment or unalignment for you. And as you start to treat your life a little bit like an experimental laboratory, where you're getting curious about your aliveness and your thriving, and your areas of complaint and your areas of feeling dead, you start to log these things and you start to notice patterns. Now you've got to do this work, because otherwise you're just going to be in reaction from one moment to another. In one moment you may feel alive, another you might be complaining because you feel bored and dead and disinterested. And if you're not willing to observe where there's patterns by documenting and logging this, even as simply in your notes on your phone, then you're not going to have the intel, the intelligence, the data to inform who you might be under the surface. The classic Lewis Carroll question, who are you? Well, knowing who you are begins with knowing what turns you on and what turns you off in life. And that'll give you some insight into the characteristics under the surface. And once you figure that out, you can then start to observe the belief systems that you have that either hold you into those states of non-aliveness. What belief systems keep you trapped doing a behavior? Could be a job, being in a relationship, could be your lifestyle, could be living an unhealthy life. Why do you continue to do these things if they are unaligned with who you actually are? And again, you would need to know what makes you come alive and what doesn't in order to compare and contrast and get curious about the belief systems under the surface. And once you dig deeper into that, you can then start becoming the orchestrator, conductor, creator of your belief systems, which will shift your perception. It will start to shift your perceptual filter. We talked about the perceptual filter this week. It's that filter we all have that determines what data points from the external world pass through the filter to reinforce our sense of reality by reinforcing our belief systems, and which data points don't get through. Because there's someone else in this world who has different data points getting through than you are, and they are perceiving and experiencing a different reality because of their perceptual filter and the nature of it. And it begins with your belief system. And you can only know if your belief system is aligned with you if you know who you are. So this whole thing is a continuum where one thing begets another, begets another, begets another, and then together they constitute your life and your experience of your life. And if you get and you truly accept the premise that you are a creator, ultimately, you may not be an artist, you may not be a photographer, you may not be a musician, but you are a creator. All human beings are. And that you have created the conditions for your life, you can also create new conditions. And this is the process and the path of doing so, creating different conditions. And that's what's available to all of us if we choose to take it on. Now, this is the work that we do inside of whole life architecture. We are actively engaged in these types of conversations and this type of work, because it's very difficult to transform yourself and your life by yourself. We only know ourselves through another, and we can only transform ourselves in relationship and support and community with others. And so if this is something that intrigues you, if you're dissatisfied with your life in any way, in any area, if you feel stumped and stuck for what to do and how to move it along or move it forward, if you have no idea how to access your belief systems, how to play with your perception as a creative endeavor or a piece of art that then becomes the art of your lived life. If you're unsure how to do this, then we invite you to check out Whole Life Architecture at tmicglobal.com. We're going to move on to a new topic during next week's meditations, but for this week now, I'd like to invite Mignon to join us and guide us through our neural sculpting meditation for this morning.
Thank you, Chad. And greetings, everyone. This morning's meditation supports you to fill in the newly creative space with a more authentic knowing or intentional idea after releasing a story or stress or fear that no longer serves you. You may hear me spell out words or dial things up or down along with some playful imagery, all by design as part of the neural sculpting meditation process. This process helps calm the nervous system, primes the brain for supportive ideas, and gives you agency in how you move through your life. A regular neural sculpting practice can help anchor desired outcomes and create lasting shifts. So I hope you find this supportive. So let's get started. Together, we'll go on a little meditation journey, and we will start first by saying hello to your body in this moment, wiggling out any tension, rolling out wrists or ankles, or giving the body a gentle stretch wherever that might feel good. And you might like to find a comfortable seat, or perhaps you prefer to lie down. Adjusting your environment to support you however you'd like it to. Your thoughts can be focused or scattered, but your body is right here in one place, waiting to respond to your mind. So, what if you could notice at this time which parts of your body would like a little permission to let go and relax a little more so that you sink your weight into the cushion or mattress or ground just a little further. And you could now become aware of your breath that is always breathing in and out. And only in this particular moment you might be noticing it, but it is consistently supporting you in all moments. If you could bring awareness lower into the body, allowing the body to soften, your inhale might dive just a bit deeper, filling you even more, expanding belly and lungs. And your exhale, that can just spill right out of you effortlessly, as though it could fill the room around you. Emptying you on the exhale, filling you on the inhale, the in and the out. Your breath moving slower, smoother, longer, deeper. And there may be things about this moment that are helping to make you comfortable. What do you notice at this moment that is adding comfort? Maybe a comforting thought or a specific aspect of the room that supports your comfort. Your most basic needs are happening in this particular moment in time, and your body is doing everything it's designed to do, and you are breathing. And as all of this keeps supporting you from moment to moment, you are reminded that your creative mind can go wherever you'd like it to go. So it might be funny to imagine your hands were like a Swiss Army knife. Maybe a finger or two have a special handy tool like a saw, a screwdriver, or a corkscrew. How wild would that be? What handy tools would you imagine? Or maybe it would be more interesting to imagine being your favorite color, the vibration, the feeling, the movement of being all encompassed in that color. What do you imagine that would feel like? And with your creative mind able to go where it wants while your body remains comfortable in breathing, you might find extra comfort knowing that you are the author of this meditation, a meditation to anchor yourself into something wonderful. Maybe there's a concept, a word, a feeling that would be so wonderful right now. This may be as simple as Joy, joy, or calm, or ease, EASE, or some other word that would serve you better in this moment. What comes to mind for you? And this word, this idea, this might be something you are very familiar with from your past. This might be something you have never experienced before. And maybe this is something that is natural for you and feels really good to embody. And because your breath is breathing itself and your creative mind is awakened, you can bring this word to life right in this very moment. So, if this word could have a color, what would that be for you? Maybe it's bright and warm, like a sunset. Or maybe it's green and deep. It might have a shape, rounded. It might have a temperature, cooling or warm. or a texture. Bubbly and spacious, or smooth and slick, maybe light and feathery. What does your creative mind do? What would it be like to take this color, texture, vibration, this word, and drink it in or drop it right into your body like dye dropped into a glass of water? Could you imagine where it anchors in and what that might feel like? Maybe it's a warmth that spreads or a deepness that anchors you comfortably. How does your mind imagine it spreading? Is that a pulse that moves through your body? Is it an illumination that brightens your inner landscape? Or is it something different for you? And remembering that your body listens to your narrative, so too your body is listening to the way you relate to this wonderful concept and these colors and vibrations. You might even notice a sensation. Where is your body most responsive to this experience? It might show up like a glow on your face that turns the edges of your mouth up into a smile, or it might be a relaxed softening in your belly. What do you notice? This is how your body is relating and associating with this concept. And you get to remember that, marking it in your body's memory with a simple hand gesture, if that's comfortable. or perhaps using your non-dominant hand and placing it on your body to use as a reminder of this experience. And there might be a word that can also activate this experience for you in your day-to-day life. A word that you can say or write or hear or read letter by letter. What is that word or that phrase for you? And because your body listens so well to your mind, your body may remember this story each time you say your word or make your hand gesture or do this meditation, filling yourself in with what serves. And just as your breath breathes itself, even when you're not noticing it, so too this vibration can expand even when you're not noticing it. And each and every breath can integrate this experience more and more until it becomes familiar, widespread inside of you. Integrate it. And you're invited to continue to explore this concept or idea or word, allowing it to expand in your inner landscape. Even as you move your awareness to your outer landscape, to the sounds around you, moving fingers and toes, gently opening your eyes when you're ready to end your fill-in meditation. Thank you for joining today's neural sculpting meditation. I encourage you to take a few moments to journal about your experience. And you're welcome to join us for our weekly meditations, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific. I'm Mignon Harris, a certified neural sculpting facilitator. And more information about neural sculpting is available at vitalform.life via the TMICglobal.com website. Wishing you a gorgeous day. Be well.